Think you crazy, say you hate me. Sean play crazy like why you hate me. You pray for better's what you asking for. I give you better than what you asking for. Tired of the arguing, all the hollering in the back and forth. That's gonna drive you crazy. Think about love, it come with phases. Quick to follow.
Alrighty, hey, welcome to Barbershop.talk podcast. Now, this is the podcast where our topics are determined by the conversation that goes on in the barbershop on Saturday. That's right, we are here in Indianapolis, Indiana, in Out the Way Studio. Now, I am not here alone. I am here with my co-host, and that is KC.
Thank you, J. Rod. It is a pleasure to co-host Barbershop.talk podcast here in Out the Way Studio. And like J. Rod said, it comes up on Saturday, it goes down on this podcast. I'm going to break from the norm because I have a story to tell. I use rank number 3 in the culture leading the NFL. Let's celebrate this moment. Break out the champagne. Let's hope at the end of the season, it remains the same.
Alrighty. Now, if you say so, now I'll tell you something, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Since you happen to bring up the Colts,
Yeah.
it's a fluke.
Oh, geez.
It's only temporary.
Man,
Things good is not going to happen.
you fell off the bandwagon already, J. Rod?
Well, I wasn't really on the bandwagon, Casey. I just think the Indianapolis Colts don't got a chance this year. They're not going to make it. Now, they started off good, which I do appreciate, but from here on out, no can do.
Oh, man, you gotta get on board, J. Rod. I can't go out like that, man. How you gonna kick a team while they up?
Oh, that's a good point. Now, I also may say to our listeners, you may see that I have a little brace on my arm here, and that slowed me down a little bit.
Sorry about that, J. Rod. I got out of hand. Things, got heavy.
Don't listen to him. I just had a little surgery. I had a little surgery on the shoulder. Hey, you know what we're going to do today, Casey?
What's that, J. Rod?
We're going to clear up some lies. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, because, there's lies all over the place, and they're looking for somebody to tell them the truth. And I think Barbershop.talk podcast is going to do that tonight.
Let's spit it.
That's what we're going to do. All right, now, the first one, I just want you to now think back when you was in grade school, and I want you to think about all the things that they told us, and now we know was a lie.
Yeah, it told us a bunch of lies, J. Rod.
You absolutely checked it. Like a wood.
Like y'all as smart as any kids in any other school.
Oh, no, that was just a lie they was telling you.
Still a lie.
Right, well, let's look at our first lie, and then we're going to talk about it.
Lie. Picture little Timmy in 1955. He's watching Bert the Turtle teach him to hide under his desk from nuclear bombs. Duck and cover, the cartoon turtle says cheerfully. That's like using a napkin as body armor against a machine gun. The government knew this was complete fantasy. A nuclear blast creates temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. Literally, your wooden desk would vaporize before your brain even registered the flash. The heat would turn you to ash while you're still processing what's happening. The blast wave travels faster than sound. By the time you hear anything, you're already gone, atomized, scattered to the wind. But hey, at least you died in proper duck and cover form, right? They made millions of kids practice this useless ritual. Every week, nuclear annihilation became as routine as recess. Okay, children, time to practice surviving the unsurvivable. The real reason for these drills? Crowd control. The government couldn't have people panicking about inevitable doom. Better to give them busy work while the missiles fly. Make them feel like they have control over the uncontrollable. An entire generation grew up thinking their school desk was a nuclear bunker. Some of them still believe it. That's not education. That's psychological warfare on children, teaching them that a piece of furniture could save them from the same force that leveled entire cities. Number 3.
All right, I got to talk about this, Casey. Do you remember doing that stuff in grade school? Do you remember?
I actually do, because I think they kept that propaganda going throughout the early 60s. I mean, the mid and late 60s.
Man, you're absolutely right. Now, here I am thinking I'm protecting myself against a atomic bomb under my desk. The building would have been gone. I would have been gone. There's nothing we could have done. So the lies they tell us. You know what it reminds me of? The lie that's going on today, Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, these schools are having drills for shooters.
Oh, yeah, school shooters.
Yeah. And then I heard them interview a young man, and that young man said, this is useless. The reasons that it's useless is because the kid is shooting up the school is also a student. So he know what we're gonna do because of the drills.
Hey, that kid got some sense.
He got a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I said that makes sense. That makes sense. So it's another lie. It's
Right.
another lie. Now I'm
And they'd
thinking.
rather spend a bunch of money bringing armed guards, more people there with guns,
Mm-hmm.
than metal detectors that can detect when a gun is there before it gets in the building.
Oh, you're talking about being proactive. That's very good, Casey.
Yeah.
That's now. I want to talk about this in school. Do you remember when they was talking about you got to have good grades? It's important. Good grades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they said it like that. Good grades, but you know what I meant. All right, but check this one out, Casey. Another lie that they told us. So let's see. Clear up this lie,
Everyone talks
please.
about how we spent 13 to 20 years in a row worrying and stressing about trying to get good grades when it all got us the same exact thing. It got us an hour commute each way, Monday through Friday. It got us 40 hours a week in a cubicle, spending more time with people that we don't like than the people at home we actually love. It got us annual wage increases of like 2% when real inflation is something like 5 to 10%, not the one they tell you, but the one that actually exists. And that salary I mentioned, yeah, you can't afford to buy a house with it. Not even close. All of those teachers, all of those family friends, all of those grandparents, all of those school counselors, they all told you the same thing. Just study hard, just get good grades, and you'll be successful. The only success that brings is 40 to 50 years of youthful dreams traded away for like 10 to 15 years of retirement once you're too old to even enjoy it. For some people, that kind of made sense when you could actually afford things. But now, it doesn't make any sense at all. So again, how come no one talks about how badly everyone was tricked? About how badly everyone got screwed over for listening to the advice of, hey, get good grades and it'll all work out fine. Starting a business.
Now that's a good one because see, look, I'll tell you, my mother bought so much into that lie about bringing home good grades. If I got a bad report card, I used to get a spanking.
What?
So now I realize she punished me for nothing. Absolutely nothing, Casey.
Wow.
Now I will tell you this too, Casey. Now when I graduated from college, the only time they ever asked me about my GPA was on my first job.
Really?
Yeah, it should be the same for you. Did they ask for what was your GPA when you get a promotion?
No. I
That's
ain't never
right.
took no report card to apply for a job.
Me either. See, and I'm telling you, a lot of times that the person who, let's say I had two people in class. One guy was in the middle, and the other guy was the top of the class, always got A's. We get into the workforce,
Yeah.
the guy in the middle of the class is the manager of the one that always got A's.
Yeah.
So that good grade stuff was a bunch of crap, Casey.
Overrated.
And what kind of grades did you get?
Letters.
Yeah, we know that. I'm trying to figure out what kind of letters, Casey.
Oh, alphabet letters. Like,
see, he don't want to tell his GPA or what kind of crazy guy. But Casey was a very good student. I can tell you that he was a very good student in a class. It was just a special ed, but still, it doesn't matter.
education is special, J-Rob.
Okay, you're so right. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna pause here just for a second, Casey, because I want all our listeners, to subscribe if they like our content. So just take a moment after our podcast to subscribe because we're really trying to get our numbers up, and it is so important to us that we do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get back to our show, Casey, because I'm gonna talk about our very next, our next thing. Our next lie. Remember, because we're talking about lies here. So we're going to talk about our next lie. Here we go. And it's about Republican.
Can't have a thriving middle class.
Yes, in other words, yeah, you're right. They can't have a thriving middle class. They don't want a middle class, to be honest with you, Casey.
Yeah, they shrink the middle class.
Now, they say they want one.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they
That's
said,
the lie.
yeah, that is the lie. That is the lie. So we're going to get some insight, a little bit more about this lie. Let's hear about it.
Republicans can't have a thriving middle class. When people can take care of their basic needs, they travel. They develop empathy. They get out and they see the world. And because they're not struggling, because they're not in a fight or flight, a panic mode, they're more open to the idea of helping others. When you're afraid of a refugee taking your $18 an hour job, you're much easier to manipulate. You're much easier to control with fear. When that job is the last thing standing between you and homelessness, you'll do anything to save it, especially when Republicans have dismantled safety nets. When you're desperate and looking for guidance and you go to church and they've already lined up the church leaders with the same talking points, never had a chance. It's not a coincidence that the last time we had a truly great economy, we also had a booming middle class. And it's also not a coincidence that at that same time, even our most conservative Republicans would be socialists by today's standards. Republican leaders need you uneducated, they need you poor, and they need you afraid so that they can manipulate you more easily. The last thing they can have is a well-funded, healthy, secure middle class who develops empathy and tolerance for even those who might look and act differently from us, because it would cause them to lose their precious culture war.
Wow. I think there's a lot of truth in that, Casey.
Oh, no doubt.
I think there's a lot of truth in that because I know, you know, anytime that you get a group of educated folks, it puts a fear into some people's heart because it's easier to manipulate somebody who is uneducated.
Yeah, it is. And it's been a master class by the Republicans the last several years. You just look at the campaigns that's going on. They're not talking about policies that's going to make our lives better. They're talking about divisive social issues. That's what they're running on. You know, this group of people, and we don't want them this, and this group of people need to be shipped out. This group of people, that's their whole policy.
Man, I think you're absolutely right because here's one thing that stand out to me, I mean, like big time. You know, when Harris was running, I heard in one of her speeches that if you buy a home, we will give you $25,000 to put on that home.
Yeah.
Now, people voted for Trump. Now there's going to be a housing crisis. Now everybody's talking about our wages is not keeping up and we can't afford a home. Well, Harris had a path for you to do that, and you voted against it. So like I said, they don't really want a middle class because they need people, I hate to use the term, they still need slaves. And that's, I think, what they're building. The people who run this country is looking for a group of slaves to stay on the plantation.
Yeah, and I'll be a little softer there. I'll say servants. The Republican Party, their policies is aimed at benefiting the wealthy, letting the wealthy exploit the masses. But if they just came out and told you that, the people wouldn't vote for them. So they have to have you distracted, divided by your race, divided by your religion, divided by this issue and that issue, but not the policies that they really want to do.
I think you're absolutely right. You know, I'm going to move on to our next live. See, because our next live is talking about retirement.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember, Casey, when they said, oh, when you retire, you're going to have all that time you can travel and do all these things?
Yeah.
That's what they told us. They said, in retirement, you're going to do all that. You're going to work all these years, and it's going to be worth it.
The longer you work, the better your retirement.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what they said. All right, well, here's a video going to address that lie and going to bring out the truth.
Scam of the world is convincing everyone to work for 60 years straight, sacrificing their youth, dreams, time with loved ones, and personal freedom, all while being told that one day, after decades of labor, they'll finally get to enjoy life. The reality? By the time they retire, they're in their 70s. Their bodies are tired, health problems have begun, and the energy they once had is long gone. What's left is only a short window to live freely. But it's not true freedom anymore. You're shackled by age, medication, and regret. All those moments with family, friends, and past have gone, traded for a paycheck, and when you finally have time, you're too old to enjoy it. That's the real cost of a lifetime of work. Remember that time is the most valuable currency, and trading it all for work without living fully is the real loss. If you're not following us, you are probably never going to see us again. But if you are, congratulations, you are growing every day.
Yeah, okay, see, I got to talk about this one.
Oh, yeah.
I got to talk about this because I tell you, see, you worked away your good years. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to tell you what you're going to look forward to in retirement, Casey. I'm just going to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
All right. You're going to go to bed healthy. And when you wake up, you're going to have some kind of pain. right? Either going to be your knee, your back. You're not going to wake up the same person. You don't have all that energy.
Was kicking you and kneeing you when you was asleep?
No. I'm just talking about if the pain would come from anywhere at any time. You didn't do nothing but sleep. Now, I'm going to tell you one other thing, Casey, and I know this for a fact. Because when you're younger, if somebody knock on your door, you're all excited. Hey, somebody came over. We're going to do some things. Mm-hmm. When you get older, somebody knock at your door, you're mad. Who in the hell's over here? Who came over?
Take a nap.
Yeah, you do need plenty of naps. So I'm telling you, it's a whole new different world, Casey.
Yeah, they tell you when you get older, that's when you go see the world. But when you're older, the only world you want to see is maybe your front yard and your backyard.
You're absolutely right. Plus, who want to lay on the beach looking like a raisin? No, I'm telling you, Casey. I'm telling you, they're trying to fool us, Casey. Mm-hmm. That's another lie they told us.
The okie doke.
That's right. Now we're going to check out this next lie. I think it deals with the electric bills.
Okay.
Let's check it out.
78, Congress deregulated your electric bill. They promised competition would lower prices. Your bill went up 300%. Here's who pocketed the difference. Before 1978, electricity was regulated like water. Your bill covered actual costs plus 10%. Simple. Follow for the receipts they buried in your utility bills. The Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act let Wall Street buy power plants. Enron bought 30 plants in 6 months. Your local utility? Forced to buy their power at whatever price they demanded. Kenneth Lay wrote the deregulation bill, then made $42 million running Enron. The congressman who sponsored it got $3.5 million in energy stocks after leaving office. California deregulated in 1996. By 2000, rolling blackouts. Enron traders caught on tape laughing about grandmothers in the dark. Bills jumped from $30 to $300 monthly. Texas deregulated in 2002. Result, highest bills in America. The extra money, straight to Wall Street shareholders. Your parents paid 2 cents per kilowatt in 1978. You pay 16 cents for the same electrons. The difference is Wall Street's cut. Today, private equity owns 73% of power plants. They buy them with borrowed money, then make you pay the debt. Competition didn't lower prices. It just added middlemen who produced nothing but collect everything. In 1978...
Wow. See, that's what kills me, Casey.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't trust Congress. See, that's another lie. Now, the lie was they told us competition is good. Competition is good. No, they set it up. They set it up. See, that's why they always talk about we want the government to regulate things too much. Well, that's because they're trying to protect the citizens.
Right. There's regulations are there for a reason. And when you get rid of regulations, now you lose those safeguards. And you see in all types of industry and businesses, when regulations are watered down or removed, those industries really take advantage of the citizens of the United States.
I think you are so smart. I think you're so spot on.
Okay,
See,
I got A's then, J-Rod.
You know something, Casey? As soon as I said that, I said that was a mistake. You shouldn't have said, Casey, God, it was smart. You should have said that. I just knew it. But the thing is that you're spot on. There's in this country, it comes down to money, and who gets to keep the money and who we take the money from. Even this daylight saving times. They lied to us again on that, Casey.
Yeah?
Yeah. Matter of fact, okay, I'm going to ask you, Casey. Mm-hmm. Now, when you was in school, what did they tell you was the reason for daylight saving time?
The farmers.
That's right.
They said farmers were needed for planting and harvesting crops and stuff like that.
That's the same story I heard. But listen to this. She's going to expose the lie.
That farmers are the reason why we have daylight savings time. Yeah, that's actually bullshit. Fully made up industrial strength lie. Welcome to my latest rabbit hole. So how we just blindly move our clock forward and backwards like we're part of some fucking time cult every year? And everyone's like, oh, it's to help the farmers. We gotta help the farmers. Yeah, no, that's not true. Not true at all. Farmers actually fucking hated daylight savings when it was first introduced. Yeah, they actually fought against it because you know what crops and cows don't do? Look at a fucking clock. The real reason we started doing this has way more to do with coal, capitalism, and war than it ever had to do with agriculture. So yeah, let's go back to the origin of all of this. The idea of shifting time wasn't even American. It actually started in Germany in 1916 during World War I, and the goal was literally just to burn less coal. Yeah, they thought if they shifted the clocks, people would, use more actual daylight instead of using more artificial daylight, and therefore like saving the fuel for the people at the war who needed it. So 2 years later, in 1918, the US copied the exact same idea for the exact same reason. Conserving fuel during World War I. And after the war was over, the US was like, all right, we're good, scrap it, get rid of it, until it was brought back again for World War II in 1942. Yeah, same concepts, fuel, whatever. Oh, but this time they gave it a new name. They called it wartime. So catchy, right? But here's the fucked up part. Even after the war was over, these corporations were like, hang on a second, I noticed something here. And what did they notice? Oh yeah, that people will shop more. So, of course, it all comes down to fucking money. Yeah, the retail stores, they loved daylight savings because obviously more daylight, more time to shop, and golf courses loved it too. Even the candy industry got in on this shit. Actually, as a matter of fact, they lobbied to extend daylight savings time into Halloween because more daylight meant more people buying more candy. So, that's fun. Oh, and who was still against it? Yeah, the farmers. The ones you're telling us the whole reason we're doing this for? Yeah, they fucking hated it still. Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, when Congress made daylight savings permanent in 1973, the public backlash was so bad because, kids were getting hit in the dark on their way to school that they repealed it less than a year later. So, yeah, farmers didn't ask for it. They fucking hated it. But you know who does benefit? Corporations, retail, the oil industry, airlines, golf courses. It's just good old-fashioned capitalism dressed up for a seasonal tradition. Oh, and fun fact? Yeah, studies show that it actually doesn't even save energy anymore. Actually, in many cases, it increases it. Because people crank their AC in the hot fucking sun, and they drive more during those extra daylight hours. Yeah, so next time you're stumbling through your house trying to change your clock back, just remember, wasn't for the farmers. It was for corporate America and capitalism. And if this story made you go, what the actual fuck? There are so many more where this came from, and we're going into all of them because...
Wow. See, another lie. Another lie that they get millions and millions of people to believe. We need to go to school, Casey.
Yeah.
Because we got to find out how to lie and let a whole country believe what you tell them.
Hey, we was lucky to get out the first time. I don't think we need to try again.
Are you talking about school?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Boy. I was extremely lucky to get out of there. But we did it, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to figure out how to lie to let the whole country believe you. Now, I'm going to...
We got a president that teaches you that every day.
Yeah, but he's a bad liar. Well, no, I take that back. Because a lot of people believe his BS.
Yeah, remember somebody actually injected themselves with bleach.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well,
Based on his life.
here's to you, Mr. President. For lying. All right, Casey. Now, this next lie is about when I was growing up, one of my favorite drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Kool-Aid.
Hey, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I love Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But you know what I hate most about Kool-Aid, Jake? Casey?
What's that?
Is that I want our listeners to listen to me. Because it's deep passionate. Because they used to ask my friends, my African-American friends, what is your favorite flavor of Kool-Aid?
Oh, I know that one, J. Rock.
Oh, if you say what I think you're going to say, Casey.
I know the favorite flavor.
What's the flavor?
Red.
No, see, there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. There's no flavor. It's red.
You ain't never had red Kool-Aid?
I had red Kool-Aid.
It ain't your favorite?
Oh, but it was a flavor. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I am so done. I cannot stand when people say my favorite flavor is red. Red is not a flavor. All right, here we go, Casey. I just now I'm so disgusted. I don't know what to do.
It was the best. It was a favorite flavor in the hood.
Oh my, yeah, that's for certain.
The racist marketing of Kool-Aid. What if I told you America's favorite cheap drink wasn't just sugar water? It was part of a racist marketing play that targeted black communities for decades. Kool-Aid boomed in the mid-1900s as a cheap alternative to soda. But behind the smiling Kool-Aid man was a darker story. The brand was pushed hardest in poor black neighborhoods, not just because it was affordable, but because advertisers knew they could sell colorful sugar water instead of healthier options. By the 1960s and 70s, Kool-Aid ads leaned into harmful stereotypes, showing black children and families celebrating with it, while fresh juices and milk were marketed to white suburbs. And when people say the phrase drinking the Kool-Aid, it's tied to the Jonestown Massacre in 1978, where mostly black victims died after being poisoned with a Kool-Aid knockoff. Kool-Aid was never just an innocent drink. It was cheap, it was targeted, and it played into a cycle of exploitation. Buried Headlines exposes the truth behind the brands we thought were harmless. Like and follow if you want more of the history they don't teach you.
All right. See, now that's very important. Now, it seemed like in the black community, they try to kill us off any way that they possibly could, right? Now that they're giving us unhealthy food and et cetera. And Casey, this is what bothers me, is when I go into a soul restaurant, and on the menu, I look down there, they have Kool-Aid. now, if they knew this history, Casey, they wouldn't have that on the menu.
No red Kool-Aid?
Here you go again with that red Kool-Aid. Red is not a flavor. Red is not a flavor. Okay, I'm going to move on. Well, I'm going to move on. But you got to know your history. Those were pushed in the black community. Again, instead of the juice and milk and et cetera, it's another thing. I think that's why we have high blood pressure right now.
It contributes to it, and diabetes.
That's right. All right, now we're gonna enlighten some folks on another lie, Casey. On another lie. Here we go.
Why we don't have universal health care in the U.S. It is not an accident. So after World War II, most wealthy nations, like UK, Canada, France, Germany, built universal health care systems, although the specific methodologies and the timing and all that varied by country. It was driven by post-war reconstruction, the desire for greater social equality, and fears of social unrest, which I think we need to bring back. Many governments just moved to provide this comprehensive medical care for their citizens. And here in the U.S., they took a different route. They tied healthcare to employment through private insurance. Why? Lobbying and fear-mongering. So in the late 1940s, President Truman proposed national health insurance, but the American Medical Association, the AMA, launched one of the biggest smear campaigns in history, calling it socialized medicine and equating it to communism, which people fell for. And this narrative has stuck around for decades. Government healthcare equals loss of freedom. This isn't just about money or politics either. Racism has shaped this entire debate because in the 1940s and 50s, Jim Crow laws legally segregated hospitals and clinics across the South. Black patients were denied care, forced into overcrowded colored wards, or just refused treatment entirely. And Southern politicians knew that a national healthcare system would force desegregation, and they needed to avoid that at all costs. So Southern Dixiecrats in Congress joined forces with the AMA to block every single attempt at universal healthcare, framing it as a states' rights issue. Does this sound familiar? And they feared federal control meant that they'd lose the power to keep hospitals segregated. When Medicare and Medicaid were finally introduced in the 1960s under Lyndon B. Johnson, the federal government had to threaten the hospitals. You either integrate or you lose funding. Before that, more than 1,000 U.S. hospitals openly refused black patients. And after desegregation, on paper, black communities were still left with fewer hospitals and resources, underfunded clinics, worse care, a gap that we still see today. Some quick stats for you. Black infant mortality rates in the 1960s were twice as high as white rates. And today, despite spending more on healthcare than any other country, black maternal mortality in the U.S. is 3 to 4 times higher than it is for white women. By the 1970s, private insurance companies and pharma giants realized universal health care would crush their profits. So they spent billions lobbying Congress, funding fake grassroots campaigns and pushing the idea that private insurance equals better care. It doesn't. This system benefits corporations and not people. The U.S. spends $4.5 trillion a year on healthcare, but our life expectancy is lower than countries with universal care. Where we are now, nearly 100 million Americans have medical debt. Over 41% of U.S. adults delay care because of cost. They ration their health care. GoFundMe is one of the largest insurance providers because people literally have to crowdfund surgeries and life-saving treatments. The U.S. could afford universal health care, but billion-dollar industries profit off keeping it broken. And we send a bunch of money overseas to Israel. So next time someone says we don't have universal health care because it's too expensive, please remember this. It is not just about money. It is about power, racism, and profit.
Wow. See, now that's the lie, saying that it's too expensive.
Oh, yeah. If we had universal health care ran properly, not only would everybody get much better care, it would cost about a third of what we spend on health care now, J-Rob.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Because one of the perils that we have today is that many people will put off getting care, medical care, because they're too busy worrying how they're going to pay the light bill, what they're going to put on the dinner for tonight on the plate. So they're pushing back their health for those issues, and that is just morally wrong in my eyes. Right? That is, we have an opportunity not to have that issue impacting the community.
Yeah, we should be embarrassed that every other democracy in the world takes care of its people.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sick, you just go to the doctor or hospital and they get taken care of.
That's right.
And we're supposed to be the best country in the world.
That's right.
We don't. And then at the same time, I work with a lot of people, right? That vote against, and all against, universal health care. Totally against. But bitch and complain about the premiums they have to pay for the health care. And don't understand it's stupid that your health care is tied to your job. So if the company goes under or you get terminated or you leave your job, you lose all your health care benefits. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all.
It only makes profits for those who are exploiting.
I think you're spot on. When I go to Canada and I'm sick, I go to the hospital, doctor, and have care immediately. But in the United States, before I get that medical care, I have to pay my premium, then I have to pay a deductible, then I have to pay a copay, then I get the treatment. That's a lot of steps to get to some treatment, right? It is horrible. Now, also, I tell you, this is another learning that I got from this, KC. I did not know that universal care was suggested before in the 1940s, because when Hillary Clinton brought it up, everybody acted like it was foreign. Like, this is an impossible thing. Who ever heard of this? Right. And in reality, it was not.
Right. And they try to use the same old argument from when Harry Truman introduced it. That's socialism. No, it's health care.
That's right. It's health care. That's right.
It's not socialism.
To benefit you. Mm-hmm. Now, saying that, I'm going to hit one more lie that I want to clear up.
Okay.
I'm going to have to read that nice and loud there, Casey.
Absent black father origin.
Yeah, now, first of all, they says, somehow out there they're saying that black men are not good fathers, for one, and they're absent fathers, for two. So I'm going to have this clear up that lie.
How the absent black father was built, not born. When slavery ended, white lawmakers needed a new way to control black people, so they created black codes. These laws turned everyday life for freedmen into a crime. No job, vagrancy, jail, standing on the corner, loitering, jail, traveling without papers, suspicious, jail. Once locked up, men were torn from their families and forced into labor. It was slavery rebranded, profitable for the state and devastating for the home. As black families began to rebuild, the welfare system twisted fatherlessness into a weapon. If a man lived in the house, women could lose their benefits. So fathers weren't leaving by choice, they were being pushed out by policy. Then came the 1980s war on drugs, harsh sentencing, mass incarceration, and an explosion of broken homes. The media piled on, selling America the deadbeat dad stereotype. But here's the truth. This wasn't born in our neighborhoods. It was engineered in courtrooms and legislated into existence. Was it the people, or was it the policy? Hit follow for more black history hidden below.
Oh, see, that's a good topic there.
Yes, it is.
That is a very good topic.
Yeah, a lot to peel off of that shit, right?
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I don't know how many people are familiar with this study that the CDC did. All right?
Yeah.
Right here. Mm-hmm. Said black dads are actually the better fathers.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, they talking about people like you and I, Casey.
That's right, J-Rod.
So there's some statistics behind that. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up too, just for Casey, so you can look at.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't know a lot. Oh, I shouldn't say you. A lot of the people in this country is not familiar with these statistics. And it says there, You got better eyeballs than I do, KC.
Okay, 70% of black fathers who live with their children bathe, dress, diaper, or help them use the bathroom daily, compared to 60% of white fathers and 45% of Hispanic fathers.
Yeah, now that's a critical issue right there, right? 70%. That's 10% higher than white fathers. You know, and that means when you bathing your child, putting diapers on, helping them use the bathroom, that is really being involved in their life.
Yeah, and I did all that, right, with all of them.
You did that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, read the next one for me, Casey.
78% of black fathers play with their children regularly, surpassing white and Hispanic fathers.
That's right. See, we're not absent. Now we're playing with them constantly, and we just not talking about playing with the stereotype basketball.
No,
we're talking about playing
just interacting
peekaboo.
with it. Yeah.
Now, you do remember how to play peekaboo, don't you, Casey?
I don't know about that peekaboo.
The peekaboo, you know, go like peekaboo. Casey, everybody, peekaboo. Come on, Casey.
Let me see it again.
Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time, right?
Okay,
You go like
right.
peekaboo.
Yeah. You scared the hell out of me. But yeah, I remember, you know, when my kids were young, when I came home from work, the first thing I did was spend a half hour or so just playing with it,
Absolutely.
interacting with it.
Have to. What's that last statistics there?
41% of black fathers help their children with homework daily, compared to 29% of white fathers and 26% of Hispanic fathers.
Absolutely, it's helping with homework. Now I could testify to that one. Now I remember I was telling you this, Casey, earlier that my oldest son got mad at me, you know, because he got a C on the project. Now he got mad at me. I don't take this project, right? It's a science project that we had to do together real quick.
Yeah.
He told me at the last minute, so I gave him something simple, you know, water and oil don't mix.
Yeah.
We put it in a Coca-Cola bottle, shake it up, don't mix. Then you read a paragraph out the book. He's okay, I got it, Dad, got it. He had the nerve to come home and say, Dad, you got me a C. Well, what the hell?
Yeah, I kept you from getting that F.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm trying to help you. But anyway,
Yeah.
so, you know, don't. So, again, we are attacking lies on this show today,
Right.
and we just bring clarification.
Black fathers are good fathers.
Absolutely.
And we are involved in our kids' lives regularly. Only times we're not generally is when we've been removed from the home. But to piggyback off that playing with the kids thing, I play with my kids so much that I remember when they were like 3 and 4 years old, when we go out to eat, as soon as they get done eating, they step away from the table. All right, come on, Daddy, come on. Trying to play chase, Dad. And I'm like, no, we out to eat. We can't. Hey, you ain't gonna get us there. We riding. We get there. And I had to go through that so many times. It was, you know, it was funny, but yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to bet that the majority of African American men has similar stories, validating that they're very good fathers. Now I want to do this last one too here, Casey, because we're going to we're getting close to Halloween.
Yeah.
So this kind of ties into Halloween, but this is telling the truth about carving pumpkins and stuff. So we want to expose all the lies. So check this out.
You this. The first jack-o'-lanterns in America weren't pumpkins. They were the skulls of black slaves, burned black and lit from within. Enslavers twisted old Celtic rituals into something even darker. After lynchings and executions, the skulls of enslaved Africans were sometimes taken, hollowed, and blackened in fire. Flames were placed inside the bone, turning a human head into a lantern of terror. It wasn't about Halloween fun. It was about fear. These lanterns sent a brutal message: run, resist, or rebel, and this will be your fate. Over time, America buried the truth pumpkins replaced skulls, and the story was rewritten to sound innocent, but the roots were soaked in black suffering. So when you see a glowing pumpkin on a porch, remember it began with the skulls of enslaved black people, burned and desecrated to keep us in chains. Halloween hides the horror, but we refuse to forget.
Truth unshackled.
You know, that one, I want to have you do, we're going to end the close up here, Casey, but I got to have you have some final thoughts on that because it is Halloween, and I know you have some strong things to say about that one.
Yeah, first of all, I had no idea that was the origin of it. But I tell you one thing, I'm going around trick-or-treat night, and any Halloween pumpkin I see out there, I'm smashing that sucker.
I don't know if you got to go that far, Casey.
I'm smashing.
You gonna smash it up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that is the case, we're just gonna go ahead and close out of here. We're gonna do something a little different today. And,
I want to thank you for
close it
listening
up.
to Barbershop.talk podcast. Please tell your family, friends, and enemies about our podcast, Barbershop.talk, available on your favorite podcast platforms. Let's have peace in the streets. Be safe, be wise, and be loved. And we say, go mob.
Ah, bad bitch. Money count on. Cash on me. Shawty blow my phone. That's going.